It is Monday, March the 27th, as the NBA season heads down the home stretch. Only a couple of weeks now before we're talking playoffs. Several games on the slate for tonight. I'll be involved in 3 of them. Would like to go ahead and get to them. Why don't we start in Toronto, where the Raptors host the Orlando Magic. Toronto, a 9.5-point favorite at Betsafe, 206 the total in this game. Now, the Raptors have been hot lately. They've won 5 straight games, now just 1 game back of Washington for the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, and they did clinch a playoff berth with their last win. That was Saturday night over the Dallas Mavericks. But you know what? The Magic, they've been pretty hot as well. As a matter of fact, Orlando might be playing their best basketball of the season. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, coming off a blowout win, 115-87 over the Detroit Pistons on Friday. And keep in mind, that's a Pistons team that is fighting for its playoff life, so very impressive performance from the Magic there. This is a homecoming, of course, for Terrence Ross, who had spent his entire career in Toronto before being dealt to Orlando in the trade that sent Serge Ibaka, up to Toronto. So, of course, both those guys facing their former teams, but Ibaka had spent less than a season in Orlando, while Ross had spent his entire 5-year career in Toronto. But Ross has had new life. He's been a new man in Orlando, really a focal point of what the Magic do offensively after just being a role player in Toronto. As a matter of fact, he was Orlando's leading scorer in that blowout win over Detroit, pouring in 18 points. Magic have also been getting good play out of their young point guard, Elfrid Payton. Payton, not much of a shooter, but really a floor general, and been playing very well lately. 4 triple-doubles in his last 10 games. And keep in mind, Toronto still without their starting point guard, Kyle Lowry. Now, obviously, look, they've won 5 straight games, so they've been doing fine without Lowry lately. But Lowry, probably their second-best player, a big part of what they do. So Orlando might have the edge at the point guard position tonight, with as well as Elfrid Payton has been playing lately. And you know, the Magic have matched up pretty well with this Toronto team this season. Orlando has taken 2 of 3 games from Toronto. So look, this could be a little bit more competitive than people think. Now, I don't think Orlando is going to win this game outright, just because the Raptors have been playing so well. They still have a lot to play for in terms of seeding, so they'll be playing hard here. Very good home team traditionally. But I tell you what, 9.5 points might be too many. Keep in mind, this Toronto team, not great offensively. As a matter of fact, you look at the Raptors' last 14 games, they've only topped 102 points 3 times. They've scored fewer than 100 points 8 times in their last 14 games. So sometimes it can be a bit of a grind for Toronto on the offensive end. Not sure a team like that doesn't put up points in bunches. It's facing a team that's been playing very well. As we said, the Magic have won 3 of 4 games. Not sure Toronto should be favored by 9.5 points here. Feels like too many. So I'm going to take a chance with the Orlando Magic here. I like that side of it. Moving on now, the San Antonio Spurs hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers in the night's marquee matchup. San Antonio, a 4.5-point favorite at Betsafe, 212.5 the total in this game. Spurs have been playing very well lately. They've won 4 straight games, just 2.5 games back of Golden State for the #1 seed out west and the best record in the NBA. The Cavs, meanwhile, have been treading water. Cleveland, just 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're now tied with Boston atop the Eastern Conference. I mean, the Cavs have led the East for pretty much the entire season, but the Celtics have now caught them. This is the 4th game in the last 6 days for Cleveland, so they could be on tired legs. And, you know, they just haven't been very good on the road this season. Cleveland just 19-17 away from home. Now, we mentioned just 5-5 in their last 10 games. You ask, what is going wrong? Well, there's an easy answer, and that is defense. Cleveland has been playing none of it lately. Now, we know this Cavs team does struggle with perimeter defense from time to time. A couple of their key cogs like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, even though Love's been injured a lot, but a couple of their key cogs are not good defensive players, so they're never going to be a great defensive team. They have been able to step it up in playoff time over the past couple of years, but lately they have not been playing good defense. You look at their last 5 games, of which they've lost 3. They've lost 3 of their last 5 games. They have surrendered 108, 120, 126, 105, and 127 points. So really not getting it done on that end. San Antonio Spurs, of course, really good offensively. They average over 106 points per game. They're also great defensively, of course. The Spurs, 4th in the NBA in field goal percentage. Excuse me. The Spurs are 4th in field goal percentage offensively. They average over 106 points per game, and they're 4th in field goal percentage. They shoot over 47.3%. But don't worry, I do have some defensive stats here for you. Excellent defensive team as well is San Antonio. 2nd in the NBA in points allowed. 3rd in opponent's field goal percentage. So even better than I at first thought, surrendering 44.2% from the floor. So look, the Spurs very good on both ends. Playing well right now, as we said, they've won 4 straight games, an excellent home team, 28-7 at home this season. The Cavs struggling a bit, really treading water, 19-17 away from home. Look, I think San Antonio is just better right now, and I think they win this game tonight comfortably. I like the Spurs -4.5. Final game I'll be involved in on this Monday, March the 27th. What about the Memphis Grizzlies going on the road to face the Sacramento Kings? Memphis, a 6.5-point favorite at Betsafe, 200.5 the total in this game. Now, both these teams playing the second night of a back-to-back here, so could be some tired legs in this game. The Grizzlies have lost 3 straight games. However, those 3 straight games, none of them have been easy. They've all been on the road. They've come against the Golden State Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Prior to that, the Grizzlies won 4 straight. So look, I don't think the sky is falling in Memphis. I think the Grizzlies are going to be fine. Now, Sacramento coming off a win last night. They beat the LA Clippers 98-97. Might have been a little bit flukish, though. The Clippers were blowing them out midway through the fourth quarter, but the last 5:16 of the game, the Kings closed with a 22-3 run to come out with a 1-point win. Prior to that, they had lost 4 straight. Look, the Kings might have won last night. That's great. They're probably feeling good about themselves right now. Make no mistake, this Kings team is not a team you want to be throwing money at. Since they traded away DeMarcus Cousins and, of course, Rudy Gay out for the year, you look at what they've got, the guys they're trotting out there. It's a mixture of young players and career backups. The Kings' last night's win was only their 3rd win in their last 15 games. They are really bad defensively. They allow 106.5 points per game, 25th in the league in terms of opponents' field goal percentage. They surrender 46.3 points per game. The Grizzlies, on the other hand, they lock it up defensively. We know the grit and grind Memphis Grizzlies, 4th in the NBA in both points allowed and opponents' field goal percentage. Look, Memphis, the 7th seed right now in the Western Conference. No danger of falling out of the playoffs, but I'm sure they want to get some momentum going headed into the postseason. This a perfect opportunity here. And I think the fact that the Grizzlies have lost 3 straight games might be giving them some value in this situation, driving the line down a little bit. Only a 6.5-point favorite here is Memphis. And they do struggle to score from time to time, but we mentioned the Kings really bad defensively, so I think the Grizzlies are going to find some rhythm on offense tonight, and I do think they're going to cover that 6.5-point number. There you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts for this Monday, March the 27th. I like the Orlando Magic as a 9.5-point underdog in Toronto. I like the San Antonio Spurs to cover 4.5 points against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I like Memphis -6.5 in Sacramento. Folks, I wish you best of luck whatever you do tonight, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests. Enjoy the games.